Jeanine Pirro is a former district attorney and now host of TV's Judge Jeanine Pirro program, and she's here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
You have prosecuted a 12-year-old for homicide.
Yes.
You thought deservedly so. Do you think this case belongs in adult court?
Look, these cases are always controversial, and you have an 11-year-old, and the problem with this case and what makes it so, so capable of a lot of discussion is the fact that there is a mandatory life without parole if he is convicted. In Pennsylvania, the law does not really allow for the prosecution of these 11-year-olds in juvenile court. So the DA had no choice but to bring it in adult court, and he as much as said that. And now the issue is, will a judge bring this case into the juvenile justice system based upon the public interest and whether or not this child is capable of being rehabilitated? And that's really the issue here. It's about the law in Pennsylvania. It's about the fact that it doesn't have a lot of movement in it. The idea of mandatory life without parole, when the United States Supreme Court has already said, we're not going to allow you to execute juveniles, and obviously they shouldn't. But if he is convicted in a criminal court and faces mandatory life without parole, he will be the youngest in this country to ever face life without parole. And I think it's more a statutory issue than it is an issue where there's even discretion.
What do you think the judge is inclined to do here? I know that we don't know all the facts, but based on what we do know, do you think this will wind up in adult court?
Well, already he is in adult court.
Well,
the issue is whether or not it'll go to the juvenile court, and it depends upon the judge. Does the judge think that this person can be rehabilitated, and can he be rehabilitated by the time he's 21? He's 12 now, and they only have another 9 years. There needs to be a blended sentence so that there can be some monitoring, some parole, and there needs to be a change in the whole system in Pennsylvania. Difficult case, and people say a child at the age of 11 doesn't have the ability to realize the consequences of his actions. Is his brain not as developed as an adult? And I don't think there's any question about it, which is why the Supreme Court said, we're not going to allow you to give these kids a death penalty.
But when they go to juvenile, in the juvenile system, and if he is convicted there, in your experience, what is the likelihood that rehabilitation happens there?
You know, it's a very, very difficult call. I mean, the juvenile justice system has been somewhat of a disappointment for many, and the fact that he can't be monitored for more than 9 years really works against his being handled in the juvenile justice system. But certainly life without parole, is that appropriate for an 11-year-old? I think not.
That's the debate. Jeanine Pirro, thank you so much for your insight.